came here.
Hi, it's Jessie from Style and Pepper and the Concrete Catwalk. Thank you for joining us for this month's episode of the Style Spice series. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be sharing a do-it-yourself project with you. So if you're interested in hearing some easy, super inexpensive ways to transform a simple clutch handbag into a great last-minute gift idea, or if you are, unlike me, very organized and already have all your Christmas shopping done, you can create a fun little accessory for yourself to wear to all those upcoming holiday parties. So if you're interested, stick around, and next we're going to show you how. Okay, so this first one we're going to do is going to be super easy. Once you have all the supplies you need, it really only takes a couple seconds. We've got our hot glue gun turned on over here. This is the clutch we're going to be using. It's a great neutral bag. I've had it for years. I love it. I used to reach for it all the time. I don't as much anymore because I'm just kind of tired of it. It needs a little something extra, and that's why it's perfect for this project. I have a handful of vintage pins that I'll show you here in a second. Okay, the first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to take our vintage pins and we're going to lay them out in the design we want them to be in on the clutch. I love this clutch too because it's got a fun kind of geometric zigzag pattern on it, and so I don't really want to cover that up. I kind of want to complement the lines of that. So I'm going to keep that in mind as I'm laying them out. I haven't really thought through this too much, so I'm just going to kind of put them all on here and then mess with them a little bit to get them in the order that we want them in. So now we're just going to start gluing them on. And each pin really just needs a nice blob of hot glue. So you want to be really careful when you're doing this because it is steaming, as you can see. And then I'm just going to kind of carefully press it right on exactly where I want it. You really just have to hold it for a second or two. Now we have our finished product. Everything's all nice and attached on here. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I think those pins add just the perfect amount of sparkle, but it's not too much. And I like that they're all kind of floral inspired with some blues and some yellows and gold in there. Okay, this next one is super easy. It just takes a tiny bit longer than the last one, but it's pretty simple, and if you know how to tie a bow, you'll be able to do this one in a flash. So let's talk about the supplies we're going to need. Still have our hot glue gun here, simple pair of scissors, we have our clutch, and then I grabbed another vintage pin. I actually held this one back from the last clutch because I thought it looked extra special. It's just kind of like a gold pin with some cute little pearls and rhinestones on there. Very pretty. And then we also have a spool of tulle here. I got this from our local craft store, and it was just $2.99. I chose a really neutral color so that the fun pink color of the bag would be able to kind of stand out by itself. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to take about a yard of your tulle, which a little trick that my mom taught me is to just take the length between basically the tips of your fingers to your shoulder. And that's probably a really rough measurement, but I think that's close enough to a yard. And you're just going to cut that off. Doesn't have to be perfect, but we just want a yard of this. We're going to set it aside for later. So we're going to take the end here, and I'm just going to start folding it over back on top of itself. So you can see as I'm folding it's getting thicker, and it does not have to be perfect because we're going to end up kind of bunching it up to create our bow. Alright, and I think I'm happy with the thickness and the color that it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut about an extra half a length, and that's going to go in the back. So you won't end up seeing that, but I want enough so that it'll be attach to the bow. There we go. So here we have what's going to be our bow, and again, just in case you have a hard time seeing, this is kind of that extra flap at the end. And this is going to be the back of the bow, so we won't worry too much how this looks. Basically how we're going to do it is we're going to go from the center on each side, and we're just going to gather where our center is going to be, and we're going to fix it up a little bit, but there you can see you have your bow right there. This is actually the trickiest part. And since I've already scrunched this, I'm going to keep it in my hand, but I should have done this part first. Here's this original piece that we cut that's just about a yard, and I'm just going to double it over. I just doubled it once, and what I'm going to do now is kind of put it underneath here, put it underneath my finger, and I'm just going to wrap it around the center of my bow several times. And the next thing that we want to do is we're going to attach it to our clutch, but you're going to want to get it, like I'm just going to mess with it for a second because I want it to be, make sure it's centered. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. I put my clutch right here, and we're going to grab our glue gun again, and I'm going to put a lot of hot glue on the back of here. You want to be really careful because obviously the tool is, you know, it's filled with holes, which is the point, but you can also burn yourself pretty easily. And I've noticed sometimes this takes a couple tries. Make sure we have it centered. And I'm just going to hold it here for just a couple of seconds. And what's nice is that if it's not completely perfect, that's where our cute little brooch comes in. Let's just go ahead and glue that on there. Give it a nice glob. It's obviously cold in here because it's putting out a lot of steam. Okay, so I'm just going to squish it on right like that. Same kind of thing. I'm pressing it all the way down because I want the glue to really get in the little into all the little layers so that it holds really well. So here we have our finished product. I'm very happy with the way that it turned out. I like that the bow has kind of a layered, messy feel to it. It's not perfect. Although if you wanted it to look a little bit more sophisticated and less playful, you could spend a little bit more time making sure that all the layers were lining up correctly and everything. And I also love that the gold in the vintage pin matches the zipper hardware too, which is kind of fun. So hopefully you were able to follow along, and now let's move on to the next one. This last clutch we're going to do is a little bit more labor intensive, but I think it's going to look really cool at the end. We're going to add studs to this one. So the supplies that we'll need, we've got our clutch, you'll need a permanent marker. This is a leather hole punch, and I got a size 1/8 of an inch, and I got this size because of the studs that I'd gotten. I got the leather hole punch I got from the hardware store for $5. And then the studs I got were part of a kit that I actually got at the craft store, $7.50, and it comes with all of the studs in here, and then the little tools that you need to actually apply the studs to the leather, and then a hammer that I had. In the directions that come with the stud kit, it actually calls for either a rubber or wooden mallet. Since I didn't have that, I just took a steel hammer and took another little scrap of leather, put a rubber band on it, and so it gives it a little bit of a softer edge so I'm not slamming the metal on metal. And I think that's why that it calls for a rubber or wood, but didn't have one, so I made do. And then we've got, this time we're going to use it's called Clear Gel Tacky Glue, and the brand that I love is Aleene's. So the first step to this project I've actually already done. I've taken my permanent marker and I've made just a really tiny dot in each spot where I want each stud to go. You probably can't see it, but You'll be able to see it later when I start poking the holes. The second step is to take, let's open up our studding kit, and we're going to take the little metal anvil that comes with our kit. We're going to put it on inside, and you're just going to put it behind the hole that you want to punch through, and that way it gives the hole punch something to basically slam up against and helps you be able to poke the hole. So I'm going to line it up under that next pen mark. I'm going to put the hole punch right where it goes, and then I'm going to give it a good couple of slams. Okay, so now that I'm done punching all of the holes in the clutch here, we're going to start applying the studs. We want to make sure that they stay firmly attached, and so we are actually going to take our tacky glue and we are going to apply a small bead in each hole, and then we're going to add our stud, and that's what's going to keep it in place. I'm just going to go really slowly and use the tiniest little dot because I don't want it to get all over the place. I want it to only just go in the hole. I'm going to take my stud, stick it right in there, press it down really well, and this glue takes much longer than the hot glue to set. And then the studding kit I got also came with different sizes, so I think I'm going to alternate small and large, and so I will kind of just continue to do that, and you do the same, and then we'll meet up at the next step. So I'm just kind of repressing the studs into their little holes, and that way I can make sure that the glue grabs it and that they're all settled and they're not going to move. I would probably let it sit for at least 20 or 30 minutes to let the glue set, but I think after that it should be all attached, and I can kind of show you and tilt it up like this. So the finished product, I think it looks great. I think the studs give it more of an edge than it had before, and kind of just add a little something extra. One of the things that I was going to mention is that if you're going to be giving away your stylish creations as Christmas gifts, a fun thing to do is to find your friend's favorite nail polish and lipstick colors, or a few of each, and to put those inside as a little surprise so that when she opens it, there's something fun inside. Another thing that you could put inside is a gift certificate for my closet consulting services. Those make great gifts for friends, teachers, moms, sisters, you name it. You can purchase them online on my website, styleandpepper.com, and you can get those right up until December 24th, so they also make a great last-minute gift idea. You zip them all inside your little pouch and tie a gift tab under the zipper pull. For these two you could add a ribbon, but this one doesn't even need a gift bow. It's so cute all by itself, and you are all set to play a very stylish Santa. Hopefully this was a fun and easy do-it-yourself project that will help you add a little bit of flavor to your personal style. And don't forget, if you're looking for more fashion inspiration, check out my blog, theconcretecatwalk.com. If you enjoyed this month's episode of the Style Spice series, please feel free to share it with your friends. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time.